Welcome to Inspiring Nations with Sonja Keeve Radio Show, an affiliate of Creative Broadcasting and TALK Radio TV Network LLP. Question: where do you draw your inspiration? Join us as we feature women from across the globe with incredible stories of how they inspire nations every day. Now, here is your host, Sonja Keeve.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another amazing edition of Inspiring Nations. My name is Sonja Keeve, and I am so excited to welcome our guest to the show. But let me share a little bit about her. We have none other than Miss Tilda Whitaker, and she has coached thousands to assist and achieve their life purpose. Her message is set to compel the attention of those who seek to discover their mission in life and desire to launch their destiny. Through her nationally and internationally recognized 501c3 nonprofit organization, P4 Coaching Institute, she trains leaders to plan, process, and produce with purpose and to create global legacies. And we are going to get into an amazing topic tonight called Crashing the Myths of Coaching. So without further ado, for my listening audience, please welcome the amazing Miss Tilda Whitaker. Well, hello, superstar.
Well, hello to you, right back at you, sister. It is an honor to be among the ranks of the superstar tonight. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know who you are, just share a little bit about who you are and whom you serve.
Okay. Well, thank you for that introduction. I think you did such a polished job. I'm just going to give you a couple of, glances into my life, a little bit about my journey, some snapshots.
Okay.
I have been in the nonprofit arena. This year will celebrate 20 years.
Wow.
I am, the founder and director of a nonprofit named Single Women in Mission, acronym SWIM. SWIM is a powerful word because you have to surmount obstacles in order to swim through that water. So God gave me that as a vision that I had. We were blessed to serve hundreds of women locally. We got national and international recognition for a lot of the work that we did, and it was not just me. It was an awesome team of people that came along, caught hold to the vision in a small town called Rocky Mount, North Carolina. It has evolved.
I know it well, yes.
Yes, we were helping mothers and children living in poverty, at the poverty line. The formula of poverty, as they say, at that time it was even lower than what it is now. So, we were able to offer resources and information and referral. We were like a hub, just getting them in and directing them out. This all evolved. I say this because it all has evolved into now strictly a training institute, where we want to develop people to go where they want to go and, and help them grow in their journey. And part of that process, too, was me entering into the ministry, licensed ordained minister as well. I answered a call along that journey of working in the nonprofit. I tell a lot of people I was running at the time that I started that. I'm like, okay, God, I just want to do this piece right over here. I don't do anything, Lord, except do that.
Yeah.
But as the story goes, God has been good. And I say only by his grace and his mercy am I here on this line talking to you tonight to share with your awesome audience.
Well, I cannot wait to get into this topic because one of the things that I absolutely love about you and why I love this show is because it allows me to connect to amazing women like yourself. And the work that you do and the ministry that you are giving back to your community is the premise of why Inspiring Nations came to be, because you are inspiring nations with the work that you're doing, and you're touching lives, and then you're helping women to just find their purpose, because sometimes we need that sister to help us to do that, or that other person to help us to find our journey when we're lost. So I want to say thank you personally for all the work that you've done thus far and will continue to do.
Thank you so much. And the same goes to you for stepping up to the plate and answering your call to inspire nations, to open up the airways so that thousands can get their message out to the multitudes. So we don't take you lightly either.
Yes, it is truly my honor. It is truly my honor. And so let's get into this topic of crashing the myths of coaching. Now, the first thing I know, it seems like everyone that I've met or tend to meet, they want to get into coaching. And so that just seems to be like the niche that people like gravitate to. So let's talk about what are some of the myths of coaching that you want to share with our audience?
Okay. I was thinking about this today, Sonja, preparing to come and sit with you to this evening, and I came up with about 4 or 5. I won't be able to go through all of them, but I want to, try to get in as many as possible, but I've got like 4 or 5 that I do want to hit on. A lot of people, you're right. That is so true. I get that question all the time. Should I become a coach, or why should I become a coach? And my other challenge on the flip side that I share with you, I am a minister of the gospel, have had a challenge with some people understanding or believing, and there's a myth that coaching is not spiritual enough. If they do not want to pursue just saying, that they are a coach or that they have this coaching training, not understanding that coaching is simply a form of communication. Okay, I like to define before I even go into the meat of it. Yeah, so I'm outlining right now. Coaching is simply a powerful, not taking it for granted, but a powerful, one of the most powerful tools in 21st century on how to communicate with one another.
Yes.
2 people communicating. And the skill that you acquire, the skill and the techniques that you acquire in becoming a coach, because you just don't jump out the gate when you get that piece of paper in your hand. You are a trained, certified, professional life coach, Christian life coach, whatever your niche is. You don't become a coach overnight. That's one myth. Yeah.
Right.
As soon as you walk out the class, then you have this this powerful business you're going to start, and you're going to get all these clients. That's a myth. Coaching is a process.
Yes.
Coaching is definitely a process. It's like a muscle. I tell my students, you've got to work this thing. You got to coach hours, or grab anybody you can and practice. Coaching has to be developed. I've been in it for years, and I sometimes now have to back away and catch myself with some technique and skill in communicating in sessions, especially when feel like I'm not really helping the client. So the myth of, why should I become, or the question, why should I become a coach, you need it in your toolbox. You need it in your toolbox. If we look at our thumbprint, if we look at our DNA, we are not the same. We are not the same. No, even identical twins. that sit side by side, and we can't tell who's Sally and who's Jane. They are not the same. They were not created the same. God did not create any two people alike. So there's something you have and can give the world that I can't.
Yeah.
I don't care how many people I train or how perfecto I claim to be the coach.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so we could go on down the line, everybody in the room. There is a unique thumbprint that everybody has. So there can never be enough people coaching. You don't even have to say you're a coach, but just to use the gift, to use that communication is so, so powerful in relationships. I say the world is flunking in the area of relationships due to social media.
Yes.
Quick, fast, in a hurry. Hi, bye. Give me the answer. I'll talk to you later.
Oh,
know? Yeah, and relationships are faltering. They're failing every day.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so this thing called coaching is a great way to communicate. I hope that answers your question.
And so, absolutely. And now you said something earlier because, I am not a coach, but as people, you find people say, I want to get into coaching. So is there a way for you to coach without having that piece of paper, or is that a necessity in order for you to coach?
It depends on where you're going. It depends on what your life purpose is. It depends on your journey. It depends on, your goals, what you want to do with it. You don't have to be trained. Everybody doesn't have to be trained. And most of the time people are called. Coaching is a calling. It's a calling. There's this unique thing in their personality, in their creativity of already coaching in some sense. Because one of the true signs that you might be a coach is that you're the go-to person. You see the beeline in the office where everybody's going to this one office and they just love talking to him or her. More than likely, that person has a call as a coach. And if they want to develop it, the individual, it depends on how far they want to go with it.
Right.
If they want to develop it, polish it up, again, it's a muscle that you use, to develop it. We have to keep investing and learning more and more to perfect it and coach over and over. In order to become a great coach, you have to practice. Practice makes perfect, just like a musician or pianist that sits down at the piano and practices for hours every day. Coaching is the same thing. You have to practice it. But it depends on where you want to go with it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. You can coach without being trained.
Okay. And so you mentioned, of course, the first myth is that, you are not going to have, thousands of clients right off the bat, and you just can't just go out and just coach people right off the bat after you get out of the training. So what is another myth that you have found in the area of coaching?
Is it true that everyone is coachable? Most people are coachable some of the time, but not everybody is coachable all of the time.
Right.
You catch that?
Oh, I got that, and I hope for my audience listeners, I hope you caught that as well.
And I feel like I can rewind that.
So, so say that. Yeah, rewind that and say that again.
Most people are coachable some of the time, but not everybody is coachable all of the time. Every situation is not a coaching situation. Yeah, just because I love to coach, I'm a coach, doesn't mean that when I sit down to talk to you or you come to me with the issue or a subject or whatever at hand that I am to sit down and start coaching you. The important fact is that coaching is the readiness of the coachee. How ready is your client? How ready is your coachee? Do they want to be coached? We have a word that's coachability.
Yeah.
Are they, check the index of their coachability? Do they have these couple of factors I teach my coaches about to look for to really even indicate if you even need to pursue a coaching relationship with a person? Yeah, if a person don't want to be coached and they aren't engaged in the process, then they're not coachable. Coaching is not right for that person at that time. Even sometimes later, they are. Coaching is all about the person that is trying to make this change.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a myth that everybody is coachable. They're not. Not everybody is coachable all the time. That's the way I answer that.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it. Now, what would be a third myth that, from your expertise, that involves coaching?
All right. Hold on to your seat.
All right. I'm holding on.
All right. Does coaching take up a lot of time?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And anything that's worthwhile takes an investment, right?
Yes,
Anything that's going to be worthwhile has to produce, which means there's a process.
Yes.
And time spent with the coach is an investment, and people have to understand that. It's not a quick fix, fly-by-night fix because you have one coaching session. And so some people get turned off because they don't want to put the time in. They don't want to pay for the sessions. They don't want to pay for more than one session. They don't want to pay for they don't want to enter into a contract with the coach for 3 months or 6 months or 12 months.
Yeah.
To really make it worth their while.
And you know what? And I find that the reason why some people don't want to do that because they don't want to pay the money. They want to get all the answers right in the first session. That's right. That's it. You hit it. Yeah. You hit it. Yeah. But it's not you paying me. It's you investing in yourself. Yes.
As you already know, as you already know, and you've had coaches and you have coaches, that it's an investment in yourself. And at the end of the day, it does help you progress and get where you're trying to go. Because there's no question now. There's enough data, ICF, which I'm a member of, and also my training is accredited by ICF, the largest coaching association in the world. It covers like 140-plus countries. They have enough data and research and surveys they have done to prove that coaching works.
Yes.
It works when the coach is a good coach and applies their skill, and the client, the coachee, comes in with this mindset, I'm going to work this thing. Mm-hmm. It works.
Yep, and you said something that is very important right there. It's a mindset.
Yes.
So for the coach or the coachee, there has to be a certain mindset to enter into that relationship. Would you agree?
Yes, that's one of the indicators. That's one of the factors. If this person has that coachability.
Right.
If they're coachable, yes. That is definitely one of the factors.
And then with the coaching that you have done, have you seen where it has gone well and versus where it's gone really wrong?
Yes. Yeah. I've had those calls, those nightmare calls from people giving their experience about working with a certain coach. On all levels, Sonja. There's no exemption. There's no exemption. I've seen people in coaching relationships that have paid thousands of dollars and come out with zero. But there is a point to it. A lot of high-intensity coaches, mature coaches, master coaches will say that the client did not do the work most of the time when there's a failed relationship between a client and a coach. Because who sets the goals? Who sets the goals? The client sets the goal. The coach never, ever sets the goals.
Yes.
See, yeah, this comes with the training of being coached. So when you enter into this agreement, this coach-client agreement, that is in there, that the client sets their own goals.
And I love that you said that, because I think a myth also would be is people would say coaching doesn't work, and
right.
you just stated it. Well, it doesn't work when you don't do the work, and as the client, you're coming to the coach to help you master some goals that you want to set for yourself, but when you don't put in the work itself, you're misled to think that the coaching doesn't work, when in fact it was you're not working because you're not willing to do the work so that you can get the breakthrough that you need.
Right. And give or take, there are instances where there's no chemistry between a coachee and a coach, They may just not gel with that coach. They may not feel comfortable enough, other factors, comfortable enough to trust them to open up those layers that need to be worked on, and so there is no progress. But the coach should be skilled enough to recognize that and release.
And speaking of release, for the coach, I can only imagine that there are moments where it can get, there may be moments where it's tense or maybe an emotional drain. So what do you suggest for the coaches to do to find their release?
To find their release, a coach definitely has to have a real-time schedule of self-care, because it's draining. It's draining to coach people, Yeah. You really have to tap into the individual that's sitting there in front of you when you're coaching them. You have to connect in such a way. You have to hear what's not being said. You have to have that deep listening. There is a core connection. That's why I say there is a real calling for people that coach, are successful at coaching. Yeah, it is a pouring out. And there's what we call self-therapy. When I'm sitting and coaching someone, I am checking myself mentally, physically. If I'm getting squirmish, if I'm getting impatient, if I'm a little antsy, what is going on with me? Trained coaches learn to do that within themselves.
Wow. And God, this is such an amazing topic, because for my listening audience, you are listening to Miss Tilda Whitaker, and she is discussing the myths of crashing through the myths of coaching. And so if you are someone who is thinking about coaching, I definitely want you to, tap into what you've been hearing on the show today. And, and if you have more questions, Tilda, how can people reach out to you?
My website is www.p4cinstitute.com. There's a contact page there where you can send me a message via email. It comes straight to my email. They're checked daily. There is a 48-hour turnaround on response, but you can contact me through my email. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You can reach out to me on any of those 3 platforms as well.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, to get in touch with her. She has some very easy connection points to get in touch with her. And, Tilda, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. But before I go, I love to do this with all of my guests. I'm going to give you 3 words, and I want you to tell me what comes to mind when you hear them, okay?
Okay.
The first word is faith.
Faith. Give you one word back?
Whatever comes to mind.
Whatever comes to mind. Doing the impossible to man.
Love.
Love. Endless. It's just endless.
Okay.
Inspiration. To me, when I hear inspiration, it's a lifting for me to be able to lift people from a point where they're at their lowest.
And my last question to you is, what do you know for sure?
What I know for sure is that everyone is more than enough, that everyone is born with a purpose, a life purpose, that I'm here as part of my assignment is to push people into their purpose. God has given us all a space and time of creativity to be the awesome person that we so desire to be. We see others thinking, oh, they've got it going on, they're the bomb.com. And I know for sure that everyone is. Everyone is gifted in some sense or another. And it's just a matter of time of them tapping into it, that we all have a purpose, that God has created all of us equally. There's no big I's and little U's. It's all here for everyone. That's what I know for sure.
Well, Miss Tilda Whitaker, it was indeed a pleasure to have you on my show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I have enjoyed this.
And this is another edition of Inspiring Nations. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Inspiring Nations with Sonja Keeve Radio Show. I challenge each of you to perform one simple act of kindness and pass it forward. For more information on how you can be a guest on our show, visit www.sonjakeeve.com. We hope to see you next time.